Hello friends, hello and welcome. I am Intuitive Rene, in case you didn't know. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to my channel of inspiration, my channel of motivation, my channel of helping you understand life. And friends, this has been an interesting week. This has been a very interesting week. And I'm doing something a little bit different again today because it's just how things have unfolded and how things have happened. So normally towards the end of each week, release a pick a card reading, or I release your tarot scopes, or something motivational and inspiration to help you navigate life. And this week, the day I normally do the recording of that particular video, I wasn't able to for a multitude of reasons. There were quite a few things that transpired and happened that created or put me in a situation where I just wasn't able to do the recording. And then, as one does, when you miss a deadline, we immediately think, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. And we keep pushing the deadlines, don't we? We keep moving it one day down, one day down. Well, it is now Friday morning. It is now Friday the 3rd of June, and the time at the moment is 8:42 a.m. I should have released this video yesterday. I should have posted this on Thursday, because Thursday is my new posting day, and it's now Friday morning and I'm only just recording, which means I still need to go through the editing process, which means I still need to upload, which means I still need to create thumbnails. There is still so much work that needs to be done behind the scenes, never mind the actual recording. So but never mind that. One of the other things that I noticed this week was in my consults with clients, in my interactions with people on a day-to-day basis, the stories, the questions, the scenarios that have been playing out have actually been pretty mind-blowing. Not from a positive motivational point of view, but actually from a scary point of view, because we're going through something. and And as I say, normally in these Thursday Friday videos, I'm normally dealing with helping you, be more motivated and be more inspired. But today we're just going to chat. Today you're going to have to sit with me and just listen. I haven't got a plan. I don't have any kind of crib notes or any kind of talk about this, discuss that. I've got nothing. Today I am just speaking from my heart and from my soul. And I'm hoping that whatever comes through, I'm hoping that whatever comes out is going to resonate with you. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of an overview of the week that I've had and the interactions and conversations that I've had with clients. One of the things that has been very, very evident is the quantity of tragic passings. Not from illness, not from any kind of the normal methods that people pass away, but strange, weird, peculiar, unusual. There's certainly, like, tragic. I have to use that word, tragic. There's definitely a kind of weirdness about the things that are going on at the moment. Strange and peculiar seems to be the norm. But never mind that as well. It's about the volume. It's about the quantity of people who are exiting planet Earth at the moment. And it's crazy. Yes, we always have people passing away. It is the only guarantee in life that you will die, that you will at some point leave this earth plane and transition over to the next level, the next step, the next adventure. But at the moment, there seems to be a lot more of it. There also seems to be a lot more pain in the heart. So with the emotions, with relationships, and when I talk about relationships, I don't only mean romantic relationships. I talk about friendships. I talk about work relationships. I've had quite a few people say to me, in the work environment, people that they've interacted with for 12 years, people that they've worked closely with for 12 years and built a solid relationship with over the 12 years, suddenly are not friends anymore, suddenly have distanced themselves from each other, and nobody really knows why. The other thing that seems to be quite prevalent in everybody's conversations is the chaos in the world, the trauma that's going on around us, the things that are happening. Everybody's questioning why. Why? So I thought I would do the same today. I thought I would also question why. Within our tarot community, we lost a tarot creator in the last week through, again, tragic circumstances. So in honor of her, I'm going to use her deck today. So I have this deck in front of me. I don't have any questions. I don't have any kind of strategy as to how this is going to work. I also have so just to, sorry, I should have had it all. It shows you how unorganized I am. It is the Everyday Enchantment Tarot by Poppy Palin, is the tarot deck that I'm going to be working with today. And I have another deck next to me as well, which is the Angels Among Us deck. And this deck is literally, it talks about the everyday people are who are angels in disguise, and it talks about the archangels, and it talks about all the other kind of gurus and amazing people, deities that we have that assist us on a day-to-day basis. So I have these decks in front of me, which I'm going to use. I'm not giving you a choice of reading 1, reading 2, or reading 3 today. I'm just going to give you whatever comes through. We're just going to chat. We're just going to try and understand. And I'm hoping that somewhere in this particular reading, I have no idea how long it's going to be. I have no idea what's going to actually come through. But I'm hoping at some point that there will be something that will resonate with you. Something that will answer whatever questions you currently are going through, whatever questions you're currently having. And just give you a sense that it's going to be okay. One of the things that I have to start off with talking about is the word change. We have to understand that change is inevitable. We have to understand that we cannot, as human beings on this earth plane, having this earth experience right now, we have to evolve. We have to change. If you look back over history, if you look in the past 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 100 years, 200 years, 300 years, nothing has ever remained constant. Nothing. We tend to, at the moment, human beings, we tend to try and hold on to something that works for us. You may have heard things like people saying, if it's not broke, don't fix it, you know. And I get that. I get that. If things are working okay, leave it be. But we need to evolve. We need to constantly be improving. We need to constantly be becoming more, because that's what Earth is about. Earth is about understanding. It's about compassion. It's about love. It's about just recognizing that we need to evolve. We need to find better ways of doing things. I almost said bigger ways of doing things, but that's not the right word. The word is better ways of doing things. Better, not for the outcome. Okay, now that this is interesting. We need to learn how to do things better, not for a better outcome, but for a better process, for a better comprehension, for a better transition, okay? Because every single one of us are going through tragedy at the moment. We are all going through pain at the moment. We are all suffering in one way or another. And that doesn't mean that it's okay. That doesn't mean that we should all just accept our pain and suffering. But what it means is that we've got to learn how to be gentler and kinder to ourselves, to others, and to Gaia and to our earth. We need to learn how to be gentler. Now, a lot of people have shifted themselves towards veganism in the way of trying to have a lesser footprint or a lesser impact on the earth. But what we need to do is, yes, doing that is wonderful, and that is absolutely great. But in our interactions with people, in our interactions with our families, in our interactions with complete strangers, we also need to be gentler. We also need to be kinder. We also need to be more compassionate and understanding. And I've noticed, social media, and I know social media becomes a soapbox platform to speak your mind and to say what you want to say without a filter, okay? But sometimes there's so much truth in that, isn't there? And I've noticed this week that there's been a lot of soapbox scenarios out playing where people are standing on their soapbox on social media and complaining and moaning and, saying horrible things about people, circumstances, and situations. And they feel like by doing that they've done enough. But actually, have they? No, of course not. Of course not. Actions speak louder than words. And friends, I want to ask you today, what are your actions? How are you evolving in yourself? How are you changing who and what you are for the betterment of you? Forget about your community, your family, your work, your finances, your home. Forget about all of that. Let's go here. Let's go here to where it matters. Are you truly happy with who you are? Now, On social media, I do a daily card pull every single day, and I post that daily card pull on social media every single morning. So I see the camera has now gone out of focus, and it's because I've got sunlight coming into the room, and sunlight always causes problems with camera. So I do card pulls every single morning, and every single morning my intention when I do the card pulls is just a card for the day, just something for us to focus on, something that we need to be aware of. And again, the theme that's come through in those card pulls is about just being kinder to yourself, understanding yourself, having a little bit more compassion for yourself, and also recognizing the journey that you're on. But I want to say that we all need to learn how to let go of the past, let go of old ways, old systems, old methods. We need to embrace who we are today. We need to embrace our true self. We need to embrace the fact that we are not the same person we were yesterday, last week, last month, last year, last century. We are not that same person. Our situations are evolving. Our work is evolving. The way that we operate is evolving. And as much as we don't like change, because we're human, humans don't like change, we need to embrace it. So I'm here today, friends, to encourage you to let go of the old and to embrace the new. Not only in actions, not only in the things that you do, but in your way of thinking. So I am shuffling the tarot deck here, and I'm going to draw a single card just to hear what it is that Spirit have to say. And I am also going to say, friends, the light currently is going to get very bright on my face. Every second it gets brighter and brighter. I have the winter sun right in my face from around 10 to 9 in the morning. So I am going to be glowing very shortly, and I hope it's not going to be terrible. Yeah, look at that, right? I'm going to come this side. So the card that I've drawn is the Judgment card, and the Judgment card is actually exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, you know, you've heard me say quite a few times, I can't make this stuff up, and this is absolute confirmation of that. I will actually put an image of the card up on screen in the editing process, because the lighting is just not going to be good for it now. So in the Judgment card, what we have is a situation where everybody's doing their own thing. People are doing what feels right, what feels good, what they feel is valid and appropriate for them in that particular situation. But the truth of the matter is that they're doing things that aren't relevant, that aren't appropriate, that aren't valid. But they've got themselves convinced that it's okay. They've got themselves convinced that what they're doing is the right thing for them at that time. The Judgment card is also not only about your own actions and behaviors, but the way that we respond to other people's actions and behaviors. And I think the message that I need to pass on to you today, what I'm hearing from Spirit, is we have to understand that not everybody's actions and behaviors are accurate in our own opinion, in our own frame of mind. And we've got to recognize that we are only responsible for our own actions and behaviors. The only person that we can effect is ourselves. The only person who we can adjust and alter is ourselves. We can have no part to play in what other people do, how other people do it. As long as you are doing right, as long as you are being honorable and doing what you believe is 100% correct for yourself, then that's your only responsibility. You are not responsible for other people's actions and behaviors. And we've got to disconnect from that, because we get so engrossed in other people's actions, in other people's behaviors, that we forget about looking at what we're doing. You know, I can remember as a young girl, and I don't remember the exact situation, but I do remember that it was something told to me over and over and over again. Pointing fingers, you know, when you point a finger at somebody and say, oh, but they said, they did, they. I can remember my parents telling me that when you're pointing a finger, you've got all of these pointing back at you, okay? And it's something that stuck with me. And I think that's exactly what we all need to be reminded of today, is that when we're highlighting other people's indiscretions or other people's problems or other people's faults or the things that other people are doing that's not right, we need to understand that we need to look more at ourselves and less at other people. You cannot stop or change somebody else's behavior, but you can change yours. And if we're also focused on looking out there, we're never going to repair, fix, or mend the situation that we're in at the moment. So back to my Judgment card. the Judgment card is talking about external judgment, but it also talks about internal judgment. And I think that's our message for today, is about the internal judgment. Today's message is about, instead of focusing on the things that are going wrong out there, focus on what's going right here, or even what's going wrong here within you. If we all become a little bit more selfish, not selfish with your needs, not selfish with your desires, but selfish with your opinions. If we all focus more inward and understand more of who we are, what are our strengths, what are our weaknesses, what are we doing right, what are we doing wrong, if we can become more focused on those things and improve ourselves, evolve ourselves, can you imagine how beautiful this world would be? Can you imagine how less tragic and less disastrous this world could actually be if we all became better people? So when you get on an aeroplane, before the aeroplane takes off, they always do a safety check. And one of the things that comes up in the safety check is about the oxygen masks. And they say to you, the oxygen masks will drop from above. And they say to you, put yours on before you help anybody else. And friends, I think this is something that is so important for every single one of us. Let's put our own oxygen masks on. They've all dropped. Oxygen masks are hanging in the air. Okay, they're all there. We're all so busy trying to help everybody else. We're so busy trying to, oh, but they said this and they did that and da 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 da, all of that kind of stuff. We are suffocating. We are suffering from lack of oxygen. We are suffering from lack of life vitality because we're so fixated on everybody else. We need to go inward. We need to slow down. We need to stop. We need less judgment of others, more judgment of self. Not judgment in the negative sense, judgment of understanding, comprehension, truth, and integrity, okay? Of seeing who you really are, being okay with who you really are. I'm going to draw another card. So it's time for us to put our own oxygen masks on. It's time for us to spend a bit of time focusing on our own selves instead of who, what, when, and how, okay? We are, our planet Earth, our human race, every single one of us, there is mass evolution taking place at the moment. Hence why the mass exodus, hence why so many people are leaving this earth plane in crazy, strange, and peculiar ways. There is mass evolution that's taking place at the moment. And if we don't step up, if we don't get on board, if we don't update ourselves, if we don't get with the program, I'm going to use all of those kind of analogies. If we don't do that individually, independently, on our own, you're going to be left behind. It's as simple as that. You're going to be left behind. And nobody wants to be left behind. Put it this side. I don't know where's there less glare now. All right, there we go. King of Blades. Now here we have a courtroom scenario. There is only one truth. There is only one outcome. There is only one answer. And you're either in or you're out. You're either right or you're wrong. There's no middle lane. There's no gray area. There is nothing else except for truth. And you've got to recognize your truth. And your truth may not be the same as everybody else's truth. Your truth may not be identical to even your partner, your best friend, your parent, your sibling, your work colleagues. Your truth may not be the same as everybody else. But you know what? It's okay, because it's your truth. And your truth is the only thing that truly matters. Nothing else matters. The King of Blades. So as you can see, it is a courtroom. You can see the seriousness of the people in the background. You can see we have the file of evidence, of knowledge, of understanding, of who said what. We have a file of judgment, okay? We have a file of judgment. I love the fact that there is this glass of water here, because water is emotion, but notice it is half full, or is it half empty? So where are you? Are you half full or are you half empty? It's about understanding all of that. The other thing I want you to see on this particular card are the pens, okay? The pens, which means that we're ready to sign acknowledgement. We are ready to accept the verdict. We are ready to accept where we end up. But in a courtroom scenario, the outcome is often depicted or given by the judge or the jury. But in this particular case, in this particular situation, your life circumstance, you are judge, jury, and executioner of your own life. You get to make the decisions. You get to decide what's right or wrong, not what other people are doing, for yourself. And this is the message that I really needed to share with all of you today, is your reality, your truth, your life is different to everybody else's. Somebody else's truth or what works for somebody else may not work for you, and that is okay. That is okay. You've got to be true to yourself around what you need, what you desire, what is important to you, what is significant to you, and you've got to stay true to that. And if we could each do that, this world would be such a better, stronger, more amazing place. I am now picking up the Angels Among Us card because I want to ask Spirit, who's guiding us? Who's guiding us? What is the message that the angels have for you and I right here and right now? What is something that is important and significant for us to know in relation to the conversation and the message that we are having? Gosh, the lighting is changing from every second. It is different every single second. All right, let's see. Angels Among Us, message please for the collective. Message for every single one of you. A message that's gonna touch the core, that's gonna just make sense. Okay, so Archangel Metatron flew out of the pack. And of course he has to be purple, doesn't he? Of course, my whole life is purple. Archangel Metatron, and he is about spiritual power. What are the other things? Sacred geometry and esoteric wisdom. So this makes sense to me for what I'm saying to you, for the conversation that we are having today. You know, everything that we are going through is an upgrade, an evolution of the human, an evolution of the psyche, of us individually and collectively. But we mustn't focus on the collective. We need to focus on the independent, on the individual. And if we each focus on the individual growth and the individual evolution, then the mass evolution is just going to be out of this world. I am going to read from the guidebook just to see what Metatron's message is. It's card number 16 for those of you who like to know the numerology. So Archangel Metatron is the voice of God and the angel of esoteric wisdom. He can help you activate spiritual knowledge and power through spiritual teachings, books, practices, downloads of higher wisdom. Okay? Light codes and sacred geometry. Archangel Metatron works with both the Earth Star and the Soul Star chakras, anchoring your pillar of light into Earth beneath you and into source energy above, so that you can live in alignment with love and wisdom. Friends, isn't that what I've been saying all day? Like, isn't that everything that I have been saying? Maybe in different words, but that's the gist of this reading, this message, this inspiration that I'm giving you here today. Exactly. As I say, I can't make this stuff up. Where was I? Okay, Archangel Metatron supports children, especially those who are on the autism spectrum and have ADHD or other issues that make growing up especially difficult. I don't know about you, but I am a grown adult, but I still find growing up incredibly difficult. It really is. And I don't fall into any of those spectrums. But I think, you know, regardless of your label, regardless of what society has boxed you as, we're all struggling. We're all struggling to grow up because our understanding, our methods, our processes are not relevant for today. So let's just see what else. Okay, so call on Archangel Metatron for assistance with the following things: understanding spiritual concepts and teachings, hence this. Finding the right spiritual path and tools for yourself at this time. Working with and understanding sacred geometry. I am just such a lover of sacred geometry. I have a flower of life over there on the wall. I know you can't see it, but it is there. Seeing your place in the web or the grid of universal divine light. Now, again, that's the point behind this reading. That's the point behind this message to each of you today. We have to understand the web, okay, that we all fit into, this web, this collective energy that we're all part of, that we all fit into. And even though you may think, oh, I'm just one little person, what can I do? How can I influence the bigger picture? Well, if each one of us stand in the right place, if each one of us do the right things, if each one of us honor our purpose, our function, and our function in the bigger scheme of things, suddenly everything fits into place. Have you ever watched, we had the UK Queen's Jubilee yesterday, and I don't know if you watched any of that on TV, on YouTube, on whatever, but I loved watching how everybody worked in unison. You had those big groups of people, I'm going to call them the majorettes, you know, standing there and walking in exactly the right timing, the right steps, you know, their turns, their movements, their actions. And it looks so beautiful when everybody's in synergy, when everybody's working together. And this is what, again, none of those people were worried about their neighbor or worried about the person in front of them or the person two people 2 rows back. They were each worried only about themselves. They were each only worried about their steps, their actions, their behaviors. And they knew that if they did their part and everybody around them did their part, it would look fabulous. It would be amazing. And I think, again, this is the message that I'm bringing across to each of you today. Don't worry about what somebody else is doing right or what somebody else is doing wrong. Focus here. Focus on your behavior, your actions, your integrity, your truth. And if you stick with your truth and not the truth that you think you need to be, not the truth that society says you need to be, your actual truth. And remember, our first card that we drew was the card of judgment. Don't worry about what other people are going to say. Don't worry about what other people may think of you. Don't worry about what other people's reactions may be. As long as you walk in your divine truth, they will eventually walk in their divine truth. Just to talk about dis-ease for a moment, disease. I believe that negativity is the biggest disease that us that the human race is dealing with, because negativity spreads quicker than we can even begin to process and understand. Somebody says one thing negative and we believe it, we grab it, we share it, we tell everybody about it, we get on our soapboxes and we say, did you hear, did you know? You know, we're so quick to share the negative. We say that in our newspapers and in our social media, we don't see anything positive. Why? Because nobody's sharing that. We're also quick to share the negative. We don't give the positive a moment's attention. We don't. And maybe this is what we should do. Maybe we should start changing the narrative from, instead of focusing on the judgment, instead of focusing on the who did what to who, when, and how, let's focus on the positive. Let's focus on not what you do for other people, because that isn't always a positive. That becomes an ego issue. Let's focus on individual success, individual happiness, individual achievement. And when I say individual success, happiness, and achievement, I'm not talking about the accomplishments that you do. I'm not talking about the big things that you achieve in life, like, you know, you got that promotion and you got that bonus and you bought that house and you not that kind of stuff. That stuff doesn't matter. That stuff is unimportant in the bigger scheme of things. I'm talking about, did you wake up in the morning feeling excited to see your family, feeling excited to embrace a new day? Do you look at yourself in the mirror and go, wow, I love you? Do you do that? Do you look at yourself and not like, oh, you got a wrinkle, or oh, you got a that, or oh, you got a that? No, don't do that. You need to learn how to unconditionally love and accept. You need to be, at the end of the day, when you get into bed and you think about the day gone, you need to be proud of yourself that you accomplished whatever it is that you needed to. You need to be proud of yourself that whatever you did to the best of your being, that you did with unconditional love, with truth, with honesty, with compassion, and without judgment. Judgment is the problem. We need to let go of judgment of others and judgment of self. We need to learn acceptance. We need to learn kindness of self and of others. And we need to focus on our own journeys, on our own steps, on our own progress. And if we each focus on ourselves, we would immediately click into place and we would immediately have an even more beautiful world. And we would all be kinder to each other and kinder to Mother Earth, and therefore the healing, the true healing, can begin. Friends, I'm going to finish off with just one more card, one more tarot card. Let's just see, what else does Spirit want to say? What else does Spirit want me to add? Because I feel like I've said it all. I feel like I've said enough. I feel like I have, but let's just see if there's anything else that Spirit want to confirm. I had a couple of cards drop on the table, but I'm not taking them. I'm taking this one over here. And of course, I mean, it makes so much sense. It is the card of Temperance. Now, if you look at this particular card, we've got a gentleman in blue, a lady in pink. You can see by their faces they're not happy. You can see by their faces that they're a little bit upset with each other. They're a little bit upset with life. Okay, and then we have this lady at the back here, and you know what? I'm her. Okay, I'm embracing her energy. I'm saying that I am that person. I am that person that is approaching the two that are grumpy with each other, and I'm saying, you know what? Let's work this. Let's work this out. Let's work through the disappointments, because whatever he's upset about is different to what she's upset about. They're both upset with each other. That's the common story here is that I'm cross with you, you're cross with me, so therefore we're on the same page. But no, their reasons for being disappointed, angry, and upset with each other are different, but they haven't realized that. So they're on different pages. They're fighting at the same time. They're angry and disappointed and sad at the same time, but for very different reasons. And this lady coming through here, she's offering them beverage, okay? She's offering them each a beverage, and she's sort of saying, you know, we need to get on the same page. Look at the color of the liquid. The liquid is different. She's offering them exactly the same glass, the same amount, the same everything, but it's different. And this is what we have to understand. Our perceptions of other people is different to their perceptions of themselves. And this is where the disagreements, the confusion, the complications, the tragedies, the other things come in, because we're not all on the same page. And instead of focusing on what somebody else did, focus on yourself. Let's go back to the core. Let's go back to love, unconditional love of the self first. If you don't love yourself first, if you don't like yourself first, you can't like or love anybody else. So Temperance is telling you, let's get the balance right. And if we get the balance right, and if we get honest and truthful with ourselves and with everybody else, everything will be okay. Everything will be okay. So friends, I hope this speaks to your heart and soul, and I hope you take a little bit of this into yourself and carry it with you over the next couple of days, and just notice, just observe your response and reaction to other people. And if it's not where you think it should be, make the changes. Do whatever you need to do to get back in line, to come back to your truth, to come back to your honesty, and come back to your integrity. Sending you all so much love and blessings. Thank you so much for your love and support. And I look forward to connecting with you all again very soon.